Hello, and welcome to a small mini-series that I'm going to be doing for the next few weeks. We are going to be attempting the game with all the Kanto starters, and I'm going to start with Squirtle, just because he's my favorite of the original three. And I think that he has a lot of traits that are going to make him do well in this game, to really test the waters to see if it's going to be a good time, or if this is going to be a struggle. So anyway, let's just go ahead and get right into it. For base stats, Blastoise has 79 HP, 83 attack, 100 defense, 85 special attack, 105 special defense, and 78 speed. It gets access to mostly normal and water type moves, but it does get a few fighting, ice, and very importantly, it gets access to Earthquake, which is going to be very important in the late game. Now that I have my Squirtle, after swapping it out, it has a mild nature, which raises its special attack and lowers its defense. Possibly the best nature that I could get. Maybe I'm wrong though. It gets access to the Torrent ability, which makes it so that if you're below a third of your max HP, your water type moves get stronger. And these are the moves that I gave it based off of what Bulbapedia says it would have up to level 10. Now for base stats, Squirtle has 44 HP, 48 attack, 65 defense, 50 special attack, 64 special defense, and 43 speed. And I just thought I'd go ahead and do these for all the pre-evolutions, so you're going to be seeing the next one for Wartortle soon. Anyway, at level 13, Squirtle gets access to Water Gun, which is going to be its next best move, because Bubble is a spread move in this game, and I think it might always be a spread move in double battles, but that means that its damage is taken down just a bit. Anyway, we come to this battle in particular. I'm already on the back foot just a little bit, and this is, I think, the second or third attempt, because, yeah, Squirtle and Teddiursa I don't think can beat this. The fact is that he starts out with an Abra who can use Thunder Punch, Fire Punch, or Ice Punch. If it uses Thunder Punch on Squirtle, it's basically over. In this attempt, they were specifically targeting the Teddiursa, which is the best outcome I can have, except it's still not enough. So, I'm using Tackles, not Water Gun, because both Pokemon are resistant to it. And unfortunately, Squirtle's attack stat is a little bit lower than its special attack stat, so I'm not doing as much damage as I could be. And also, Tackle's not even a full 100% accuracy, so yeah. But even with this luck, I still lose this battle, because I'm only doing about a fifth to Horsey. So it's not going to happen. I decided to check how much Water Gun would do, and it actually did quite a lot more. So maybe I could have done it, but after a couple more attempts, I just decided, why not just evolve to Wartortle? It's only a couple levels later. And with that being said, Wartortle has 59 HP, 63 attack, 80 defense, 65 special attack, 80 special defense, and 58 speed. And with its evolution, we're now going to be able to just tear through this battle, because Water Gun's doing way more damage, and can actually almost one-shot the Abra. I decided to go for Bubble here just to get a little bit of damage on Horsey, because I know coming back around to it's going to be a bit annoying. I go for Tackle. It's still doing about a quarter, but at least now I can take hits a little better. Another Tackle. Unfortunately, I do get paralyzed, but that doesn't end up mattering, because I don't think I get a paralysis. So another Tackle, not quite enough to take it down. I decide to use Bubble here, just another spread move. Get some damage. And I take down the Shroomish. And now I can take down the Horsey in just a couple turns. Never mind, I do get paralyzed once. But it doesn't matter. And a Water Gun. Takes down Horsey, and I'm able to beat him. Okay, welcome to the incoherent rambling section of the video, where I usually say things like subscribe and like if you'd like to. So this is the first in the series of the trio. I already have the trio already filmed, ready to go. And if you do want to stick around and see those, don't forget to hit the shiny bell. Oh, also I learned the move Bite here. Very useful for basically any Pokemon, just because it allows you to flinch, and you get the dark glasses fairly early on. Anyway. Yeah, so... And I have something pretty cool coming right after this little mini-series of the 3 that I've been thinking about for a while now, just haven't really gotten around to doing it. I'm currently working on that now. I'm about halfway through the game. But it's going to be pretty cool when it comes out, so if you want to stick around for that, hey. Anyway, I think we're just about done here with the Power Rangers. So let's move right along to catching Carvana, because, like I said, we want the black glasses. It's going to raise the damage a Bite, and just having a fairly strong Dark-type move that flinches is very useful. So now we're moving right along to Lovrina. We're going to use Bite into Love Disc. Never mind, I can't read. Bite into Beautifly, hoping for a flinch, because Love Disc is going to be doing not very effective damage to us, or using Tackle, which isn't completely accurate. Out comes Rosalia, possibly the strongest Pokemon Lovrina has, because if it sets up Leech Seed, that's never good. I go for Bite, and it's doing about half, but as long as I get a flinch here, it should be fine. And Leech Seed misses. Okay, it doesn't happen very often, I feel, but it does happen occasionally. Rosalia is down, out comes Delcatty. Hitting this with Bite or a physical type move. Physical type? A physical move has a chance to activate its Cute Charm ability. We just kind of hope and pray that it doesn't happen. So, a first Bite, no flinch. It's going to be a 3-shot from the look of it. Another Bite. And there's the Cute Charm. Okay, that's a bit unfortunate. I do get the flinch though, so as long as this goes through, we take down Delcatty. And at this point, we've basically won. So, we go for Bite on the Love Disc. We're doing over half. And one last Tackle. And Bite finishes the Love Disc off, and we beat Lovrina first try. Now, you can't have a Pokemon XD video without the obligatory Mirror Bee mention. So, here he is. Now, Wartortle can actually learn the move Protect through its level up learn set. So, I was deciding whether or not I wanted to teach it just yet, but I decided not to because I can buy it from the Real Game Tower later. And also, I said that all the water types are at a disadvantage for Water Pulse, and that's because you have to do Area 3 here. You don't have to start from a new challenge. You can start at Area 3, which is something that would have helped Vaporeon a bit. Anyway, at the end of the place, we get Water Pulse, which is a water type's basically best move in this game because they don't have access to Surf. And we don't want Hydro Pump. And Wartortle evolves into Blastoise. We already went over the stats of Blastoise at the beginning of the video, so I'm not going to redo it again. But get ready to see a lot of Blastoise from here on out. And of course, at the Real Game Tower, we're going to pick up our normal 2 moves, Hidden Power and Protect. I'm going to teach Hidden Power right away. But unfortunately, our Hidden Power type is Rock. It's not terrible, it just doesn't really hit anything that we can't already hit, for at least neutral damage. And I decided to delete Tackle and replace it with Body Slam. And then at right before the Snidle fight, we can get the move Ice Beam, which we're going to immediately replace Hidden Power with. And here we are in the Snidle fight. I decided to go for Ice Beam right off the bat, just because it is 90 base power. So it's basically our strongest move, and it has a chance to freeze. And I guess Quagsire also doesn't resist it, because it's ground type. I go for Water Pulse on the Lunatone, and I'm able to take it down in one hit. Out comes Cast Form. Another Shockwave from Lantern, which are doing a good amount of damage. I decided to go for Bite here. And it's going to be a 2-shot if I can get a flinch here. And Castform also has Shockwave. And another Shockwave. Okay, well I started this fight at half health. I'll probably do better next time. With full health this time. So, once again, Ice Beam into Quagsire because I know it's going to be able to take it down. Never mind. I guess I just got a high roll last time. Okay. Well, if that's the case... And you can see I'm deciding here whether or not I want to finish off the Quagsire or just leave it alone for now. I do get a lucky miss there. I decide to take down the Lantern though. And then out comes the Lunatone once again. And on the first turn, Lunatone's always going to set up Shadow Sky. So I usually want to get rid of it. Unfortunately, because of the Rock Tomb, I'm now slower. So it does actually get it up. But that means that the Quagsire should go down in a turn or two because of the Shadow Sky. So, may be the best outcome of this particular exchange. Now, unfortunately, I too am taking damage from the Fruity Pebbles, but it could be worse. So, Weather Ball's not really doing too much to me. I don't know why it's using Weather Ball this time instead of a Shockwave, but oh well, doesn't really matter. Might just be because of the Shadow Sky weather condition up, but I'm not sure if it actually gets a boost from that. Anyway, I'm now sitting at 50 HP. The Quagsire's down, but now it's just me and the Metang. I should be able to take it down, and that's a little scary. Okay, but I'm able to one-shot it, and not wasting any time at all. We're moving right on over to the Snag'em base against Gonzap. Now, this is the first attempt here, and as you can see, I'm once again at half health. So I doubt I'm going to win this one. And yeah, the spark from him isn't really helping that situation. Does Water Pulse one-shot it though? It does. So that's actually quite useful to know. Hyper Beam's not really doing too much either. So the next thing I need to know is how much Ice Beam does. And it's a one-shot. Okay. Out comes Whiscash. Now, I think I should be using Ice Beam here. I decided to go for Bite, though, because of the flinch. And an unfortunate critical hit takes me down to 1 HP. But I'm a livin'. I'm a survivor. I take down the Whiscash. Out comes Skarmory. Nuzleaf has to recharge. And now I decide to go for Water Pulse. Oh, I go for a Body Slam. Oh. Okay, well I take down the Nuzleaf anyway. And Hyper Beam finishes me off. Okay. So, let's just get right back into it. I've decided to speed it up a bit because, honestly, this battle takes a little while and nothing really interesting happens. It's just starting at full health really helps in a battle. So I'm able to basically take down everything in 1 or 2 hits. And there's the Ice Beam. It did get a crit, but not sure if it mattered. Out comes Skarmory once again. I go for Ice Beam and take it down. And then I should be able to one-shot the Nuzleaf. And that's Gonzap pretty easily. Now at the top of the Giant Pyramid, I pick up the move Earthquake, which is going to be very important. And I decide to do something a little risky. I get rid of Bite, which might come back to haunt me. Anyway, going right into the Gorgon fight, I decide to Body Slam the Celio because the Lairon is always going to use Protect first turn, and the Celio is always going to use Earthquake first turn. And now I can use Earthquake, and that'll take down the Lairon. And because the Celio's been damaged, it'll take down the Celio. And now out comes the Slowking and the Ursaring. Ursaring should go for Protect this turn, so I attack the Slowking. and Body Slam's doing a sizable chunk, and Earthquake's doing almost nothing. So I'm almost at full health. I go for Earthquake, take down the Slowking. I get a crit, so Blastoise really wanted him gone. Out comes his first Shadow Pokemon, Primeape. And Ursaring uses Slash, doing just a little bit of damage to me. I go for another Earthquake, because now none of them will protect anymore. I'm able to take down the Ursaring and the Primeape with one hit. And then out comes his last Shadow Pokemon. It is Hypno, who isn't really that much of a threat to us, so I just use Earthquake. Not a one-shot. Shadow Storm does... Okay, with a crit it does a sizable chunk, but... yeah, we're able to take it down. And just like that, we're off to Citadark Isle, the last area of the game. Arguably the hardest area of the game, with all the final fights against everyone. So, let's see how Blastoise does. Hopping right into it, here's the first boss battle. It is Lavrina once again. I use Water Pulse into Gardevoir, it doesn't quite take it down. And the reason I'm attacking the Gardevoir is because all of her Pokemon have Attract other than the Shadow Pokemon. So whatever the opposite gendered one is, you want to attack first. In order just to get it off the field, so you're not going to be missing attacks due to love. So I take down the Gardevoir, and out comes her Roselia, which is basically the same Roselia that we fought before, has Leech Seed, except now it's got Attract as well, and Magical Leaf. But really not that much a threat anymore. Out comes Farfetch'd, who is her first Shadow Pokemon. This thing is pretty dangerous because it has a move called Shadow Panic, which confuses you. And speaking of confusion, Water Pulse can also do that. Okay, well that's just a little unfortunate. And Farfetch'd used Shadow Sky, setting up Fruity Pebbles. So, not really the best situation to be in, but honestly we're not hurting for health right now. Ice Beam takes it down in a single hit. And then out comes Altaria, her second Shadow Pokemon. And this thing's kinda not a threat usually, just because it only does damage. And usually it's not that strong a damage, because Altaria is not very much a physical attacker. So it using a physical Shadow move isn't going to do that much damage. Anyway, we're able to take it down in a single hit. And now it's just me and the Gorbis left. And it can't really do enough damage to take me down. So I should be able to take it down with just a couple Earthquakes. Unless I get some confusion luck, not in my favor. Okay, well now I'm about half health. Okay, snapped out of confusion. Earthquake does all of its health and we're able to take down Lavrina first try. And we move right up to the top of the mountain, where we fight our next boss, Snaddle, once again. And just like before, Ice Beam's able to take down Quagsire in a single hit. And he brings out Scizor. Now Matang still has Thunder Punch, which does have a chance for paralysis, but Matang's not really a threat, because it gets one-shot by Earthquake. And Scizor, being a bug type, actually resists ground, so it's going to be neutral, so not quite a one-shot. Now the Soul Rock is always a bit tricky because it does have Levitate, which means that I can't just spam Earthquake in order to get through this fight. You actually have to aim one attack at least. Scizor is using Silver Wind, which does have a 10% chance to raise all of its stats, but it wouldn't really be a threat even if it did, just because Earthquake should take it down from that amount of health anyway. Now, I'm surprised I didn't take down the Cast Form in a single hit, and that's a little scary because Starmie is kind of the scariest Pokemon here. And I didn't know that had Thunderbolt. Okay, maybe Cast Form could have been a threat if it was a little stronger. And Earthquake's not able to take it down. Shadow Storm's gonna do a decent amount. Or maybe not. Maybe it only does about a fifth. Okay. Well, usually it's a bit more scary than that. Anyway, moving on to the next boss of the game, and usually one of the hardest bosses simply because if you're a special attacker, this boss is pretty difficult. Anyway, I'm able to take down the Swallow in a single Ice Beam, and out comes Kingdra. Alakazam uses Thunder Punch, doing actually a bit more. Oh, I got paralyzed. Okay, well, maybe I can still scrape a win. Okay, that's not a good start. Okay. Double Edge. Earthquake? Okay, so, maybe this isn't going to be a first try victory. Yeah, no, that's unfortunate. But on the second attempt, I use Ice Beam on the Swallow to take it down. And then out comes the Kingdra once again. Now, I didn't bother climbing the mountain again, I just reset the game. So, I leveled up to 67 once again. Anyway, Earthquake now actually connects and does about half to Kingdra, and takes down Alakazam. And then out comes Heracross, who is sometimes a threat. It has Rock Tomb, which can lower your speed. And on top of that, it takes not very effective damage from Earthquake, which can make it a bit of a pain to actually get off the field if you're kind of relying on the high damage of Earthquake. Anyway, the Kingdra goes down, Heracross goes down, and now he's down to his final two Pokemon. Electabuzz, who is a very strong Shadow Pokemon that has the static ability, meaning that if you hit it with a physical move, you might get paralyzed. So, I use Earthquake, and that's actually able to take it down in a single hit. And Snorlax actually took quite a sizable chunk from Earthquake. It misses a Shadow End, okay. It would have only halved its health and made it easier to take down, but... And it misses the second one. Okay, well... That might have been the easiest Ardos fight I've had in a while. Second try. And now moving into the Gorgon rematch. I go for Body Slam into Slowking, because Ursaring is going to use Protect. It's the same strategy as before, basically. Because Gorgon doesn't change. So I use Earthquake. Take down the Slowking. Another critical hit on it. Blastoise really doesn't like Slowking. Out comes Aggron. Ursaring uses Slash. Now, neither of these Pokemon have Earthquake, so they're not going to use Protect at all. So I can just use Earthquake to take them both down on the same turn. And then out comes his first Shadow Pokemon, and also Walrein. And I decided to not learn Water Pump here because... Water Pump? Hydro Pump. Because I don't like the fact that it can miss. And I think Water Pulse is doing a good enough job. Anyway, I use Earthquake, and it's doing about half to Walrein, and a little under half to Poliwrath. But that might just be a range, so maybe it'll do more damage next time. It's able to set up Shadow Sky, so Fruity Pebbles are coming down. And I use Earthquake again, take down the Walrein. And, okay, it wasn't a range, I guess. Can't take down the Poliwrath. Out comes Mr. Mime. And Shadow Storm's doing a little bit of damage. It's not too bad. So I think one last Earthquake should end this. Mr. Mime actually survives. Okay. Poliwrath does go down though. Shadow Storm from a Mr. Mime is probably going to do a little more damage. And surprisingly didn't come out of that battle super easy. That was a bit closer than I thought it'd be. Anyway, next battle is against Eldis, who can be quite difficult, but unfortunately for him, I have a Pokemon with an Ice-type move, so this is actually going to be fairly easy. I hope, anyway. Out comes Salamence, his second Shadow Pokemon, which should go down to a single Ice Beam. Now the Silver Winds are kind of annoying, but he's only got 5 of them. So eventually it'll run out and just start spamming Protect and either Aerial Ace or Dig. I prefer Dig, just because I don't have to deal with him for 2 turns. But Aerial Ace isn't bad either, but I decided to actually just take it down because the Flygon just always spams Takedown, or sorry, Double Edge, which really doesn't do that much damage, so it's not that big a threat. I go for Water Pulse on the Marowak to take it down, and then out comes his last Pokemon, a Shadow Lapras. This thing really isn't that big a threat. It just kind of sets up Shadow Sky on the first turn and then spams Shadow Storm. So I decide to use Earthquakes to get the most amount of damage. Use a Shadow Sky. Fruity Pebbles Rain. I heal it back up. Another Earthquake takes it down below half. And I believe just one more turn should take it down. Double Edge is still doing a little bit of damage. Shadow Storm. Shadow Storm is actually doing quite a lot. Okay, maybe I didn't fear it enough. Oh, well, hey, that's not great. And it hung on by a sliver. Okay, so maybe I wasn't prepared. So I decided to go in and teach the move Protect. Because Protect is good. Now, I'm not exactly sure if I had gotten rid of Body Slam or Earthquake, because Earthquake does more damage, but not nearly as useful in the final fight. But also, Body Slam does less damage, and is only single target, so a bit questionable which one I should have actually gotten rid of. But anyway, I've decided to speed up the video here because honestly it's basically the same thing as I did before. I did accidentally misclick and hit Earthquake instead of Ice Beam, but oh well. And all Protect really does is allow me to stall out turns to waste the Silver Wind PP, because honestly, just if it can do something other than Silver Wind, it's probably better. And now we're back at Lapras, who we already saw was a 3-shot. So, and because Ninjask is going to just be wasting every other turn anyway, it's not really a threat anymore. So, I decided to Protect here, get a little bit more health back, and also stall out a turn of the Shadow Sky, another Earthquake, and as we saw before, it's not quite a 3-shot. It's very close, but it's not quite a 3-shot. I go for Protect again. And now I use another Earthquake, which, as before, doesn't quite take it down. I am getting pretty low on health, but Lapras is going to use Shadow Sky this turn, so it wouldn't have been a threat this turn anyway. And Ninjask wastes one turn, and I Ice Beam it to take it down. So, with that, we're now at the final 2 battles of the game. But before you can get to the final, you have to fight the big box legendary Shadow Lugia, who is usually a pushover in these challenges, just because we're usually so over-leveled that we can generally 1 or 2 to 3 shot it. Anyway, Ice Beam is going to be a 2-shot. And Shadow Storm's doing a decent chunk, so I decide to Protect here just to get a little more health for the last battle before I take it down. So, with that being said, let's just go ahead and get right into the final battle of the game. And here it is. I use Protect first turn because I want to heal up just a little bit more. So I'm not quite full, but I'm pretty close to. Let's see how much Water Pulse does. It's a 1-shot. Okay, that's really good. Okay, Executor comes out. And Rhydon and Executor only use the move Shadow End, which is very strong, but also it halves their health. And it's only 50% accurate. So you can generally gamble on this final battle to try to get that luck to actually win. Yeah. Anyway, the Rhydon goes down. Out comes Tauros, who is always going to use Shadow Sky first turn, and then usually uses Shadow Hold, but can also just use the move Shadow Rush, which isn't nearly as strong as Shadow End, but also doesn't have any drawbacks. Unfortunately, Tauros isn't a one-shot with Water Pulse, and it sets up Fruity Pebbles. So I'm sitting pretty low on health. I decided to go for Earthquake here, but my attack has been lowered by the Tauros, so it's not going to do enough to take down the Executor. And then out comes the second legendary bird, Articuno, and okay, never mind, I died to Fruity Pebbles. Okay, well, not a terrible first attempt, but could have been better. With that being said, I've decided to pump my Blastoise filled with every rare candy I have, and now he's up to level 77, so I think he should be able to one-shot the Tauros now, and maybe just do a little bit better defensively. So out comes the Executor once again. Rhydon misses the Shadow End this time, which is kind of nice. It means that I'm not taking damage. Out comes the Tauros. It lowers my attack. Executor does get the Shadow End, which is only doing about a fifth, so I should be fine. I use Water Pulse, and it doesn't take it down. It's so close. But the confusion does it for me. Okay, well that was pretty lucky, but we take those. Out comes the Articuno once again. Executor hits another Shadow End, so I'm getting pretty close to half health. So I decided to use Protect this turn just to heal a bit. And Articuno uses Shadow Chill, which does have a chance to freeze. It's a little scary. Now, I decided to do something a little risky here, and I decided to take down the Executor, just because sometimes it's better not to play the gambling game, and I think I should be able to one-shot the Zapdos with Ice Beam. So as long as I don't get frozen, I think I'm in the clear. So I use Protect again, just heal up a bit more. In case I'm wrong, and I take a ton of damage from Zapdos, Ice Beam comes out, and is able to take it down. Okay, now it's just the Articuno left. I heal up a little bit. Ice Beam comes out and does over half, so in one more turn, I'll be able to take it down. And just like that, Grieful has been defeated. Level 77, and honestly, Blastoise is kind of a beast in this game. Like, I think Squirtle's pretty bad. Like, really bad at the beginning. Just because its stats don't do it any favors, and on top of that, it's a move pool for those first few levels before it evolves. You get Water Gun, and that's the probably best move that it has. Wartortle is pretty decent, but just Blastoise does so well. It's just the right amount of defensive to survive attacks, quite a few attacks even. And it's not amazingly strong, but the fact that it gets ice and water and normal and ground, specifically earthquake, and bite was also pretty useful just for some flinches in some battles and just type coverage in general. It just comes together to make this Pokemon that is really good at being over-leveled and dominating the game. So, with that being said, I put it above Jolteon. It basically did the same that Jolteon did, but better all around. It had fewer losses, a faster time, and lower level. So I think it's just, it's not quite up there with the Espeon and Ursaring tier, but it's definitely probably the top of A+. So, with that being said, I guess, if you like this video, like it. If you want to subscribe, you could. Leave a comment down below for any Pokemon you'd like to see. I have the next 3 weeks already planned, and if I don't really see any Pokemon I want to do, not that I'm being picky, it's just I don't really want to do a Magikarp run, preferably, just because I don't really have the time at the moment. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.